Yeah, from Little Kim, the Queen Bee. It's ladies' night, what? It must be Angie on the mic. The butter pea, honey, got the sugar, got the spice. Roll the L's tight, keep the rhymes right. Yo, I just straight this motherfucker up last night. And I'm the rookie on this all-star team. Me and Kim is getting cream, like Thelma and Louise, but on chrome. Never leave that Brooklyn shit alone. So if you say it's on, then it's on. Bang this in your whips, pack them cold roadie with the chips in the wrist. Here's a French kiss. I've dismissed all you chicks. Spit 6 from the 4th, 5th, make it dance. Ow! I stay focused, and the dope is like a penny with the hole in it.
It's always a delight to welcome you to the program Ladies' Night. My name is Ameze Obai Siagbon. Of course, you can call me the Empress. And of course, I am not alone in the studio. I've got two amazing ladies who are going to be joining me today on the program. All right, I have the ever-glowing C. White talking about Caroline Okonji. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And you? How are you?
I'm good, I'm good.
It's obvious.
And I also have Mama P talking about Precious Uruchi. How are you doing?
I'm good, I'm good. I've missed you.
Seriously? You always say that, but you never call.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
I'll change.
Okay, all right. So last week we talked about rape. We actually had two special guests in the studio with us talking about a doctor and a lawyer. And my ladies had to sit back and watch. But this week we're going to continue the series on rape. This week we're going to focus more on the causes, because something leads to something. So we're going to be talking about what causes rape. I'm going to head on to the streets first and foremost. I want to hear what people on the streets have to say about it, what their own opinion is, what causes rape or what can lead to rape. And then when we get back, we'll talk about what people discussed and also our own opinions about it. It's Ladies' Night. Do not go anywhere.
Of control, uncontrolled sexual urge or lust. One, uncontrolled sexual lust or urge is one of the causes of rape.
Worrisome that rape and violence against women has become very worrisome. The incident is increasing on a daily basis. I think this is because there's so much immorality in the system. Our young men and our children are no more being given the moral training that they desire. Our parents are expected to train their sons and daughters as how to relate with one another, how to respect one another, and how to obey, above all, to obey the commandments of God and the law of the land. But parents are too busy chasing money, and as such, they don't even have the time to get closer to their children and train their children. And parents are the first teachers that the children are exposed to.
Female girls that have been raped today, some of their mothers, their parents, have contributed to this raping of a teen. Behold, today, you will see some parents will tell their daughter, you need to be dressing sexy. Today, they have raped them. Why are they complaining? Today, indecent dressings everywhere. You cannot differentiate a prostitute to a married woman today.
Trace the causes of rape. Today, you will discover that number one is indecent dressing of the female folk. There are some of them, they go half naked. That we, to some extent, when the man now discover that, look at what things that are supposed to be protected, to be covered, are now exposed. They will now subject themselves to that unnecessary
parental care. Because most families don't have time for their children. This present generation, they don't have time. There was a boy, a little boy about 7 or 6 years old. They asked him, what would you like to become in school? The boy said, I want to be a cell phone. Instead of saying, I want to be a doctor or a lawyer, I say I want to be a CFO. They say, why? He said, most of the time, my dad don't have time for me at home. My mom don't have time for me at home. Whenever they get home, they are with their cell phone, either playing Candy Crush or other games. So they don't have time to imbibe moral lessons to them, or inculcate fear into them, or tell them 1 or 2 stories. Like when we were growing up before, our parents would sit us down, tell us 1 or 2 stories. That story will put fear into you. Even though they are fictions or story of cock and bull, but they have a vital role to play in our life. Because there are some certain things you want to do. When you look at this was the repercussion of what happened to a tortoise or dove. At the end of the day, you will refrain from it.
If you look at rape cases, like of recent, it has been on the increase. First of all, you will agree with me that it's both sides. Male raping female and female raping male. But I want to believe that there is something wrong somewhere that needs to be corrected. Is it because that morals have been thrown to the dogs? Because if you look at it of recent, what surprises me most is that when we feel unsafe with the society, you say, okay, let's run to the religious homes. But you see even reports of pastors involved, other peasants, and any other person involving in cases of rape. That means there is something wrong somewhere that we must have to go down to trace it. But if you look at the youth generally, I know as a university lecturer, we talk about it every day. Because the rate of drug abuse could lead to cases of persons, 1 or 2 persons, acting strangely. Because
All right, welcome back. It's still Ladies Night right here on Independent Television. My name is Ameze Obaise, and I still have my ladies sitting right here talking about Precious and, of course, Caroline Okonji. Now, we've heard what people on the street had to say about today's topic, and we're going to dissect it one after the other. I'm going to start off with what a lot of people tend to say, especially the men. They actually said poor dressing on the part of the female. So I want to see where to start off. Do you think that the way a woman dresses can seduce a man and activate the rape aspect of his mind, if there's anything like that?
Okay, yeah, like people would say, dress the way you want to be addressed. Now, I'm not going to say that's the reason why men would want to rape a woman. Now, when you dress half naked, you only make the opposite sex look at you seductively or probably find you attractive and desire you, but that's not enough reason for you to say, okay, because she's half naked and everything about her is revealing, and because of that your inner person is telling you, man, this babe go good for bed, you know, that kind of thing now. And all because of that, the best thing you can actually do for yourself is just to rape her. Sharp, sharp, quick action. But it's not the best thing. Even if a woman is dressed seductively and everything about her is just so revealing, and you feel, man, you would like to have something with this person, nothing stops you from talking to her about it. Nothing stops you from asking her out. Oh, you're pretty, I would like to have you. Even if whatever you feel for her at that particular time is just lust and not love, just to make everything legal, ask her out, invite her over, make sure she accepts, she gives you that consent. But if she doesn't accept it, if she doesn't want to, if she doesn't like you, if she doesn't find you attractive, and let it slide. There are other beautiful women out there. So people that say because of what she's wearing, it's so seductive, it's too revealing, it's attractive and all that, it's enough reason for me to rape her. My dear, as far as rape is concerned, there is no justifiable reason. So I totally disagree with people that rape people, those rapists. I think this has to do with inbuilt. For you to be a rapist, you must have nursed a lot of things in your mind. And sometimes this is just, you're born with it. Oh. Let me say that, because when you grow up, little things begin to tell you that, let me do daddy and mommy with my mates. You know, I don't know if you've had such experience growing up as a child.
There's actually a reason.
That growing up as a child.
No, you just said there's no reason why that justifies rape. Well, you talked about something just now, and it's a reason. It may not be a
growing
good
up as
reason.
it's not. That's why I said people have reasons for doing that.
Yes.
Like when we talked about what the woman is wearing, I would have said it's a good reason, but it is not. For the fact she's wearing something revealing and attractive to you doesn't give you the reason to rape her. You, my dear, we talk about self-control here. Let's talk about it. If you have self-control, you can actually look away, like pay deaf ear, pretend as if you never saw anything, if you're the kind of person that has self-control. And whatever you're seeing, you see it as normal. But because you don't have self-control, you fell for it. So that's why I said, we don't have a justifiable reason to us why people rape. So when I talked about growing up as a child, you hear little children say, can we do daddy and mommy? Daddy and mom. And if you don't caution them when you as an adult hear them talk about things like this, they get to grow up with it. Because some funny things are just found among children. So if you don't stop them on time, they grow up with that mindset. They will continue to do things that they are not supposed to do. So it can actually lead to rape because they feel like, I would always hide to do things. I would always hide to do things. They don't see reasons why they don't have to hide all the time to do things. They don't even have any reason to hide to do things. You understand? So if you stop them on time, they will not see reasons to rape.
Okay, so I think what I can grab from what you're saying is proper upbringing of the children. So I think that should be directed to parents. We'll talk about that later. Mama P, how about you? Do you think indecent dressing is a yardstick for rape?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we'll start finding a solution to rape and rapists quickly by the time we remove this mindset that rape is a reaction and not an action. I hope you understand what I'm saying. When you say dressing is what made this guy raped this girl, you are making rape look like a reaction. She did something, that's why it happened to her. But no, rape is an action. He did it and he did it. He's been nursing it in his mind. So that's how I see it. If you don't have cravings for a naked mad woman, if you don't have cravings, let's talk about pedophiles. The children that are raped on a daily basis, it has nothing to do with their dressing. The 74-year-old woman that was raped by 4 boys, it had nothing to do with her dressing. So it's more of the rapist mindset and not what she's putting on. In other places, not here in Africa, you see people walk around almost naked with pants and bras. And because of, I think, the stiffer laws over there, rape and rape issues, I don't know, it's not as much as we have it here.
It actually is. It's just they have
people just know how to. I feel our constitution is so porous, and people know how to boycott it.
That's what you would say.
Yeah, let me come from that. They find a way
their
to.
own rate of rape cases is actually lower than it is here.
I don't know, but I just feel like it's how I feel. I don't know how true. You understand? Just how I feel. I feel if stiffer measures are put, but let's not talk about that now. Let's talk about just the dressing. I don't think that dressing is a yardstick for rape. Now, also, let me come from another perspective.
Do you think that when a girl is indecently dressed, it can spark off something in a man?
I agree to that.
Okay.
I agree to that 100%. It is not supposed to, but it does.
I think men are moved by what they see.
Yes, it is not to what they, I know that whole theory, but it is not supposed to. As a man, just like she said, if there is proper upbringing, even if you're naked before a well-trained man, he would control himself. Talk more of a random lady he doesn't know from anywhere because she's half naked and then he's aroused. Why? Like why? That's to show how do I say the poor home training your parents gave to you.
Or the fact that you didn't listen to their training, because you can't blame on the parents.
Yeah,
some kids, you train them and they just do the direct opposite. They just
so I don't think
mingle with bad people, bad friends.
I don't think dressing
can actually rape you with just their eyes, even if you don't say anything.
And then you hear of girls, and then you hear of girls being raped even in their hijab.
They rape too.
You understand?
You know why I say rape? Because I've heard someone talk about this. He said he was just looking at this girl. He was just lost. And all of a sudden, he realized himself, imagining how the girl would look like on bed. And in the process of doing that, he came.
Well, like I said,
So
that's not rape.
I know.
Because
I think
according to the definition,
this guy, you know, I will target
if you
rape.
actually listen
No,
carefully,
those are people that have rape.
No.
Those are people that
Have
have rape tendencies.
Yeah.
People that, and I think rape starts from joke. I saw a diagram where they explain how rape starts, and it starts with rape jokes. That was what was at the peak, and then rape was at the top. They had so many tendencies you can show, and I think it's just one of them. You understand? People ask you stupid questions. You see music that promotes sexual activities, and stuffs like that. So, and another thing I was thinking when Siwat was talking, the question is she said it's not a justifiable reason, but to me it's a reason.
It's a reason.
Probably not justifiable. Nothing rape. There's no justifiable reason for rape, but there's a reason.
Like I said,
it's a reason.
I was trying to.
You understand? Yes.
It's a reason, but it's
not justifiable.
At all.
So it's we now at the end. Rape has no gender, so let's not even so be particular about the women. The women now, or whoever is women who's likely to be raped, they should now caution themselves. They should now secure themselves. You're working at night. Why are you working half naked? There are probably mad people and people who can't pass basic mental evaluation roaming the streets.
You see, that statement you just made, a lot of people out there will say you shouldn't even make that statement. That the fact that she's indecently dressed does not make any difference. That a rapist is a rapist. You should not blame it on her. But I feel like if you are tempting someone who is mad to attack you, and they attack you, you shouldn't be blaming the person.
No.
I just feel, I'm gearing at something. If you are doing this on purpose, probably not on purpose, you're just on your own.
Being your real self.
Yes. Sometimes we should also take into cognizance that we are not the only kind of people living in this world. There are people who are psycho, there are people who do not know the right thing to do. There are some who have mental issues, there are some who have all these other reasons that we're going to also talk about today, and that is what is working in their head. So if you are, I don't know how to put this, falling prey to those things that will trigger it in their own mind, then you're actually causing it for yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, it is not, I know what you're trying to say. It's whether or not yes, it's not a justifiable reason, but it's a reason.
Don't tempt them.
Exactly.
Don't make them have.
See, funny enough, do you know why people say that no matter what she wears, you don't have any rights to? It's all about the rapist. You understand? See, most times you find out that it's not really about what she's putting on. We've heard cases of people coming back from church, from vigil, girls coming back from vigil, and they were dragged into the bush and raped.
Okay, now there's.
Do you understand? It's not most times. It's not about what they are putting. That's why we are now saying.
Sometimes, like, I think that's where we head on to the next point that some people made: pornography. Now you're seeing. Let's start with the dressing as well. You're seeing a lot of ladies dressing half naked everywhere, and your mind is filled with sex. So anybody who is a lady out there, regardless of whether she's actually indecently dressed or whether she's dressed properly, because your mind is filled with, let me use this word, rubbish, then it automatically gears to that. It doesn't matter what that particular lady at that moment is putting on. Your mind is already seeing the others that you've seen before.
Whose fault?
Okay, you're asking.
Whose fault? No, if your mind is filled with, for crying out loud, we have restrictions in musics and videos. They say 18 plus, right? From 18, you are known to be an adult. You can be questioned. You understand? You're answerable to the things you do. As an adult, if you are 18 plus and you cannot control your thoughts, you cannot fill your mind with other things. You cannot know when you should go for therapy. You should know when, because by the time I cannot do anything, the only thing I'm thinking about is sex, then I should go for therapy.
Be an adult, but not everybody is mature. So yes, you may.
That's what I'm asking. Whose fault?
But the person is not mature enough to know that this is what they should do.
Whose fault?
It's
their fault. It's the rapist's fault.
Wisdom, it's a divine gift. It doesn't really come by age.
Yes.
So maturity is not because you're 30, it's not because you're 27, it's not because you're old.
But I don't think
it's a thing of the mind.
I don't think
you watching porn, and at the end of the day, you stuck your head with negative thinkings. You want to practicalize what you've seen so far. In the middle of that thinking, your head is not thinking straight. All you want to do is just, I want to carry out this act. I want to really see what it feels like. I want to see how that person will scream out. You know, you begin to think on how to carry out what you've seen so far. This makes you feel like, okay, whoever I see out there, I'm going to use this person to practicalize. You don't care if the person is a teenager, if the person is a child, if the person is an old woman. You just want to practice what you've seen. Now, you did ask whose fault is this, right? It is not the victim's fault, but rather it is the rapist's fault, who could not put himself under control. Everything boils down to self-control. If you have self-control, I believe whenever these thinkings come up, you should be able to put yourself together and say, no, I'm not supposed to do this. I'm not supposed to do that. I'm not supposed to practicalize it. So in all of this, I'm not going to say you don't have any reasons to practicalize or watch. You understand? Because so many people are in marriages today and their partner can't even satisfy them sexually. So they try to watch porn so that they can, you know, I'm not saying that you guys should go watch porn. I'm not encouraging it. But I'm just trying to
there are reasons why
but the truth of the matter is that was what it was actually meant for in the first place.
Yes.
It was meant to teach.
To teach, but people are using it the other way around.
That the initial reason why it was actually, because when I did some research, that's what it was meant for. And then also, last night I was actually going through this just to prepare for the program, and I saw that some people actually enjoy it when someone is forcing them to have sex. And they replicate this in some pornographic movies. Now, someone who watches another man doing that to a woman in a movie like that, the person assumes or feels like, okay, this is something I can actually try, and then they try it out, not knowing that that person has actually consented to what is actually happening to her. So it's also a part of the reasons for rape. Okay. Watching other people using violence on the person they're having sex with.
I relate this thing you're saying to where they talk about women saying no, and their no means yes. You understand?
Yes, exactly.
Because a lot of men feel today, they still think that way, that when a woman says no,
she's just looking for how you should continue
persuading her, or just force her into it. So it won't be like, I actually said yes to it. So it won't be like, I'm she. So let me just say no and let him push further. So I'm going to, that's why I said, let me relate it to what you're saying. It is, sometimes when a woman says no, guys should understand that her no is her no. Allow her to say yes. Now, okay, that was a day before yesterday. I actually saw a post on Facebook. Now, this guy brought out a phone. The girl came visiting, and they were playing, doing all sorts of things. And along the line, he wanted to like have fun. So he said, wait. He brought out phone. He said, okay, do you want to make love? Tick. She ticked yes. How many times? She ticked, you know? You understand? So they are trying to tell us something there, that a woman has to agree first of all before you can do anything. If she's saying no in pretense, guy, understand the fact that she said no and let her be. Don't mistake her no for a yes. If you do, whatever happens, whatever comes up, my dear, I think you raped her.
As regards this, no, a woman, I've seen that severally. Like, I've seen, they've asked me that questions a million times, and I'll give my same answer. Any sane human being should know the difference between leave jail and get out.
Yeah.
Any sane person, any adults, as long as you've already, of course, now you're no longer a saint. So you should know the difference between no and then, you know, there are some gestures a woman makes. She's saying no. She's clinging to you.
Okay.
As a man with the rape issue on air right now, you should be sensitive. So, okay, is she saying I should proceed? She says no, you proceed. She's not saying no anymore. She's even the one pushing you and coming. There are some women who say no at first, and then they are the one even now making the moves more than you. While there are some that say no, and you see with time they are, by seconds they are stern and they are more harsh. Like, no, I said no. You don't have to now come and think so authoritative. That phone is leaving their eyes. Like, they're now so serious. You not say, okay, because I watched in porn, violent sex, I want to do it. Like, you're a rapist.
Okay, now this brings me back to, there was a time on a radio, Ladies' Night on radio, where we actually discussed something like this. You made mention of checking her if she's actually agreeing as you're going ahead. Yeah. Now, we talked about it, I think you see why to remember, where a lady some armed robbers came to her house. They robbed she and her husband, and then one attempted to rape her, and he actually succeeded. She was struggling at first, and then she found herself moaning and shouting and pulling him closer. Now, do we call that rape? Because she termed it rape. He raped me, but I enjoyed it.
Okay, you enjoyed it, and he raped you.
She didn't give.
You know, some women are the issues of this rape. Some women are the issue. I won't lie. I'm strongly, like I will say any day, anytime, anything that has to do with rape, I can never support. But some women are even the issues we have amongst we women now. You can imagine such fallacy, such statements. He raped me, but I enjoyed it. So why are you complaining?
Mama P.
No, hold on, please. Let me just. No, it is. I'm not saying it's. Yes, I'm not saying it's not a rape. But he raped you, and you actually had an orgasm. You enjoyed it in front of your husband. I would drive you out of the house.
Now, Mama P, let me react.
Because there's supposed to be some sort of disgust. On ending disgust. If you see sincere rape victims, they go through trauma. I have a particular friend, I'll not mention her name, and I hope she doesn't take this offensive. She was raped, do you understand, by her own boyfriend. Until now, she's having troubles in her relationship. Because that trauma, at first she felt like, probably because it was her first time, maybe sex has to be this painful and violence all the time. Do you understand? Now, when you try to come close, she wants to drag her. It's not so, calm down, but she does not understand. If you see real rape victims, you see some, when I hear some rape cases, I just laugh. Like, when we started touching, what did you do? I told him to stop. Now I was still sitting on the bed. I just said I should sleep a bit. You are sleeping when he has already attempted to start touching you before. You are now sleeping, probably you want to take a bath, you want to wear his bone. What are you doing there?
Okay, that's another reason. Who carry you go there? What did you go and do there?
We say they are not justifiable,
exactly. But sometimes
we should question ourselves.
Even the men as well, because men actually get raped, bring this upon themselves. Let's be frank and sincere. We don't want to support rapists, but the fact is that sometimes the victims brought it upon themselves.
Okay, now I want to react to what you said earlier, the one we talked about in our Ladies' Night on radio.
On radio, yeah.
Yeah. Now, Mama P, the lady in question is actually married. And, you know, when you're married, you're automatically, you're just for your husband and husband alone. Whatever happens in your sexual life, your emotional life, is nobody's concern. Now, some people do not date before they get married. Why some people do? Now, for those people who date before getting married, it is possible that, okay, you already know the capabilities of this man. He can actually make you come, he can make you have an orgasm, he can make you do this, he can make you feel love, and you know what I mean? He can make you feel anything when it comes to the other room. You understand? Why to some people who don't court, they don't do anything, they just found themselves as husband and wife. Now, whatever you see in your marriage is just like that. So for that woman's case, she has been with her husband. She has never experienced what is called orgasm. She has never experienced it. I believe. I'm just trying to,
obviously, for her to,
you know, I'm just trying to say it this way. She has never experienced it. So now, it happened before her that she was actually raped. Someone just raped you. She never planned for it. She never prayed that someone should rape her. She never asked them to do so.
I'm sure she has thought about it before.
No, Mama P, I'm not trying to like.
When she reacted, we read the message on Instagram. We read it from beginning to end. The way she reacted when it happened, it was people that told her what she was doing.
That it was
she didn't even know what happened until it was all over.
So I think I have to finish.
She was driving, pushing, fighting at first, but when he started, very well. Let me put it like that.
I don't know when it's.
It's funny actually. When he started very well, she just lost herself.
At first, it's
okay,
obvious.
This is something I've never experienced before.
This is something you never planned for. You never planned for it. It was actually in fact, it was supposed to be a rape. You were being forced to it.
I'm sure that woman will somehow look for the rapist number.
Along the line,
my issues. What would you do?
Why would I? No, see, I'm this guy. When it comes to me defending myself, I become very violent. Nothing interests me. I can't say I've been. Someone has attempted to rape me before.
She might have given.
You understand? And no,
sometimes you feel like. There's not a fight.
She was
it doesn't hurt me even more.
See, I don't know about others, but I have some sort of violence in me that comes out when I'm threatened or when I'm offended. Do you understand? The person who attempted to rape me, I think the markings, he will tell that story to his children.
You know you can sue him for sexual assault.
No, there's no need. There's no need.
Because I'm planning on doing that.
Oh.
The lawyer actually last week, she said something like that. She said rape is when they penetrate something, either the mouth.
Since he didn't succeed.
He didn't penetrate anything.
Yeah.
He assaulted you sexually.
Okay.
So you can
actually sue the person.
If you have proof, though.
But there's no point.
No, there's proof.
There's no point.
There's
no
proof.
point. There's no point.
An apology test, an apology test messages. Isn't it enough proof?
Definitely.
What I want to say. So what I'm saying is that woman should have just, that consciousness that I'm a married woman and this is wrong, should have beclouded her.
She would have been able to do in that.
But she mourning and dragging and saying, no.
At first she was dragging. She doesn't want it.
She was doing that. But then she was like, she cannot fight it.
You can't convince me on this.
No, I'm not going to convince you because whatever you think is still what you're thinking.
And everybody's body is actually different.
For
so
me,
it may not work for us.
Yeah.
And like for me, I'm still going to say this. The Empress, she never planned for it. But
well, we don't know.
No, let's just say, according to what we read, she never planned for it. But it happened. At first, she was dragging. But to some point, she felt like, why would I continue dragging when the deed has already been done? I should continue dragging. Probably as I'm dragging, something else will happen, or will they kill me, or stuff like that. Let me just let it slide. It has already happened. So probably after everything, I apologize to my husband. But along the line, probably the guy started hitting her hard, and she started responding to it. So she had to toe the
that line between her dragging and her now enjoying it is that I think that was the end of the week.
She gave up the fight.
She gave up the fight.
That's why she was able to feel something.
For real. If she doesn't.
But normally, if you're fighting, you will not feel any. Your body won't even respond to what the person is doing.
She has.
So she probably gave up, and then her body reacted.
She just
happened, so she left.
There are times. When someone tells you. I think there are times where someone tells you wrongly, for some ladies, and then you already crossed your mind like, I like you, but I'm giving you time, so there's not going to be sex in this relationship for so and so time. And then you go out with this person, and the person touch you, and there's this clouds in your mind like, let me just do it and just have this fun, but you will still able to control yourself and take yourself back. What I'm trying to say is there's some sort of inner control in every human.
Yeah.
No matter it was rape, you were tired of dragging, you won't now come and tell me yes, you enjoyed it, and I don't want to even think it. How did you enjoy it? Like, why would you enjoy it? You don't have any right to
the way the guy was doing it.
You don't have any right. If you think you are not sexually compatible with someone, me personally, there are a million reasons why I probably will not stay in a marriage for a long time. I will not cheat. To me, that's cheating now. You enjoyed it with another man.
She never planned for it.
She was raped and she said she enjoyed it, Mama.
Calm down, Mama.
The husband reacted.
She's been with a man. Probably she had not had sex with anybody else apart from her husband.
Yeah, it's obvious.
And so it's not like
they're not supposed to.
It's not like she knew that she was not being sexually satisfied. She may not have even talked to anybody about her sexual life with her husband. So she didn't know. According to her story, she probably did not know what it feels like to be satisfied. Let me put it like that. So when this new feeling came to her, she did not know how to control it.
If it came from consent, I would understand.
She never planned
it. It wasn't consent, and you know, see.
Back then in school, my classmates, they were just talking. I was just behind. I was listening to their conversation. So she was like, man, the last time a guy made love to me, I came twice. The other girl, she just gave them attention. She wasn't saying anything. He was just narrating, and I was like, why would these girls be talking about how they slept with their boyfriend and how they came and how they had fun, how they were screaming and all that? So this particular girl, my attention was just on her. I don't know why, but I wanted to hear what she would say. And while they were talking, she did not say anything until they finished talking. And she asked, what is cum? As in, how do a woman come? Or orgasm? What's orgasm? She was just asking those questions that I was like, whoa, man, there is this kind of babe. You can't leave this kind of babe with your boyfriend. Because if you could talk something like this about your boyfriend in her very presence, she would want to give it a try. She would want to know what makes a woman come. She would want to experience such thing. So this kind of woman now, just let's take for instance, she get married today and without her boyfriend who hasn't given her orgasm, and eventually somebody rape her, or she just coincidentally she just fell in love with someone else. I just want to say this out of marriage. She just fell in love with someone else because her husband has been giving her issues and all that. She feels like she wants to divorce the man, and this guy touches her and she expresses that orgasm. Don't you think, without thinking twice, she will leave that marriage?
No, this lady didn't even want to.
No, I'm just trying to leave. I'm just trying to leave.
I think we add so much importance to sex. Me personally, I think we add so much. It's a priority and it's important in marriage. But I think we add so much. There's so many things. There's so many things
I would have loved
that is ahead of sex in marriages. You see, what that woman said. Like I will say again, I'll go back to where we started from. That woman is just amongst the plenty examples of our problems amongst we women. There's nothing like he raped me and I enjoyed it. Then don't complain. Just shut up.
No, she's not complaining. She's not complaining.
No, she should pack and leave.
Of course, that was the husband. I won't blame the man. That's a bruise on. My dad taught me something. My dad said you can insult a man, you can do anything, but don't bruise his ego. You understand? Don't bruise. That's a bruise on the man's ego. That's a strong bruise. If I was a man, I know my next life I would probably come like a man, but don't bruise. That's a bruise. Imagine me watching my wife mourn to someone who's at gunpoint.
Able to stop the scene as a man.
How would he stop the scene? There were other members of the gang. How would he stop when he's at gunshot?
Why would she continue to struggle when she's a woman and she's tired of
struggling? Why she cannot struggling? You shouldn't be mourning.
Well, really? It wasn't her fault. It wasn't
her fault. In this kind of scene, Mama P, there's nobody to be blamed here.
No, the woman is to be blamed. You don't tell me you. Now she came and confided online behind her husband to say, maybe she's begging that I didn't know what. No, I was just trying to make him not hurt me. That was why I was pretending. It was all pretense. But now she's confiding in us that I enjoyed it. If you don't laugh. If you're watching this, you're wrong. She should just go and apologize.
Of course she should, and her husband has no choice than to accept.
No, he has a choice.
No, we're actually deviating. We're not focusing no more on this woman. We've done that topic before.
Yes.
So let's continue. We have two more points that some people mentioned out there when we went on the street. One was drunkenness on the part of the rapist. The other was sexual starvation. Do you guys agree with any of these two? Someone can be so drunk that the next thing they're thinking is sex, and then they decide to go ahead and carry out the act with whosoever they please.
Let me tell our viewers out there, let me tell you people, I feel personally that most rapists or most rape issues that happen out of drunkenness, the rapist already had it in mind. Some drink even before the rape. Like, some have the rape in mind before drinking. They
just want to knock themselves off.
So they just want to use that alcohol as an excuse. Do you understand? They already have it in mind that this person, this setting, so I want to rape this person. And now they drink that alcohol, so it will look as if they know what they are doing. They know what they are doing, even both for boys and girls. You see some girl, she's not high. She's very conscious of what she's doing. And then she starts harassing you when maybe she just saw that sleep over at my place, maybe she's stranded. It happens to boys too. And then at night you see the girl touching him uncontrollably, and before you know, she rapes the boy.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Well,
so to me, I feel...
it might not really be that the girl raped the boy because she's drunk. But she wants to see that as an opportunity to get what she wants, because you've been admiring this guy.
He's rape now. No, you just without consent. I mean, I've listened to boys talking how the girl came on them without consent, but they didn't resist, right? But that's without. There was no consent. No, there's no consent. You've not seen boys saying, "Stop! I have a girlfriend," but she didn't stop. That's
why you didn't push her away.
You tried now. You tried. Just that your strength was weaker. Let's put ourselves in that.
We talked about before, and then not fault this. What you just saying?
No. See, listen.
No.
He didn't come to you. You went. No.
Same thing happened to the guy.
He didn't come. You both drank, right? you both drank, and probably he's sincerely drunk, and you were just putting your eyes somehow so that they would think you are drunk when you are not drunk. There are settings like that. We mix up with guys, so we hear these things, and then at night you're harassing the guy. The guy is trying to use his church mind to control himself, because you know, we women who can be aroused and you will not know, we will cover up and would die like that. Yeah. But more men, no matter how they pretend, whether they want it or not, their body is already reacting. Do you understand? And then he's like that. He's trying to control himself. You are still harassing. You're telling him, no, you are still harassing him till you come on top, and then before you know, it's done. It's rape now. If you charge you are rape. You're a rapist, young lady. That's just the truth. Let's call it spade a spade. To me, I feel most people take alcohol because they want to use that as an excuse after they've already thought about the rape. I won't say why do people not drink and go and slap a soldier man or someone in uniform? Do you understand? If it happens, it's once in 1,000. Then why do you not rape and then go and look for your any hole in your fellow gender, maybe man to man now? And why do you not, since you are just looking for a way to satisfy? I'm just talking generally. You know, those are rare cases. You see people say, I was just drunk. What did you know? You love your mom so much and you protect her. Why were you not so drunk to go and locate her room? Rather, you're looking for the harmless little girl to just rape. So I just feel I don't feel alcohol.
They just use it as an excuse.
Okay, how about sexual starvation? I have not had sex for the past 25 years.
Okay, you can masturbate. I feel you can masturbate.
Yeah, like someone out there.
I think as a Christian, masturbation is sin. But sin against yourself and against your God, instead of carrying your sin to go and meet another person and cause the person trauma for life, go and sin and be dragging with the Holy Spirit. Don't come and carry your sin and come and sin in my body. Do you understand? Why would you say because you are sexually starved and then you go and do you know the trauma they go through?
Someone who is vulnerable.
And just you see some people, you hear of house girl and oga. Do you understand? Probably because your madam is doing you're part of the culture permits second wife. You marry a second wife. And then so you see some men, they have up to 7 wives because they don't want to say you did menses, that's why you don't come. As you know, another person they see. The Bible says instead of you to commit sin, get married.
Yeah.
There are so many ways to just avoid unnecessary wahala. Don't come and use sexual starvation as a reason. You are sexually, when there are girls out there, there are guys out there, you know, say because you're sexually starved, you carry one small boy. I think this sexual starvation happens to women a lot too. They carry their gate man, they carry one small boy inside, maybe their sex toy is not working anymore. They are sex toys, yes.
And not just, that's what I was going to come on to before we round off the show. Talking about children who get raped. Now, we say rape is when the person did not consent. The person did not say, yes, let us go ahead and do this. Now, a little child of 4, I watched that child, I think, she's about 4 years old. She said, I think she was in KG2 or so. And this child was raped constantly by her teacher. Now, that child did not even know what was happening to her.
Yes.
So she did not have the opportunity to say
yes or no.
He was giving her sweet and she was enjoying the sweet. It's just that her body started having issues, and so her mom noticed it and asked her, what happened to you? She resisted at first, but she finally told her, this is what happens every day in school. My uncle takes me to the back of the class and does this, does that, does that. She's little, but she was able to tell her mom what happened. Now, this child did not even know what was going on. So how does a child tell someone that I was raped, or tell the person who's about to rape her or him, as the case may be, no? I've seen 3 months old babies
raped.
Yes.
People like
raped.
Yes, no. See, in an article I read, it shows that there are laws that protect the consent cannot be gotten from a drunken fellow. From the article I read, consent from a disabled person cannot be gotten from a disabled person or a child. There are laws protecting these people. Do you understand? A child has no right to consent. A child shouldn't, is your guardian until you get to until you get to a certain age. That's when you can consent to certain things in your life. Not just here, all over the world. Do you understand? I don't know if there are age differences. I know here is, I think, 18 years.
Yes.
You understand? So the child there's a law already protecting her against, she cannot consent to anything.
She or he?
He or she.
You
You
understand?
understand?
It is obvious that the child can never consent to such thing.
Yes.
But the adult who is the rapist is taking advantage of that child because he knows that this child doesn't even know what I'm about to do to her.
Yeah, those are
This child-
pedophiles.
Yes, you understand? So those adults who really do this to these kids, I think, should I say they're demonic? Or
That's the right word.
No, is that right? I think demons are below Satan. They are satanic. Like,
they are
let's
satanic.
put the-
Whatever word you want to use for them, they are. Because you can't tell me that
Psychopaths.
you're finding a small child so sexy.
That's what
I have really heard someone say
what I
something
said
about
earlier
a child.
on about the fact that they see other things and that enters their head. I think it's what you fill yourself with that you would actually produce or do.
Yeah.
Put it like that. If you fill yourself with so much evil, bad stuff, that's what you're going to do. You're going to show
I begin
forth.
to wonder why you would want to defile a child.
So it's not
You know, I
about
think the,
4 years, 8
Currently,
months.
I think
the other
focusing
person.
on, I think we should focus more on our male children. We should focus more on our male children because they see women is always at the receiving end. Whether we are saying it's rape has no gender, but women is and so men just feel like that's a way to brush their ego. That's the only place they can show their strength. You know, they are rejected out there during the day. They've asked 10 women out, they don't agree, but at night they have any woman they see has no option than to lay low for them. You understand? Some because they've been embarrassed by a particular girl, they will just mark it in mind. This girl, crook or nail, I will show her. That's the way to pay back, a way of vengeance. Do you understand? Some of these guys just take it as to young man. If you are watching me, okay, let's just
No,
let's
you have to
let's
say that
proceed.
thing.
No, the Holy Ghost
No,
fire.
for real. For all those people who see rape as a payback, or you want to really, you say because you spent so much on her and she doesn't want to say yes to your proposal, you feel
Yes.
she can't just eat my money and get away with it. She must pay with something. Rape is not the best thing you can always do.
And then
you don't have to rape a woman for her to know that what you've done or what she has done is bad.
And then when you hear some guys even talking about na normal thing, you know, when I listen to guys, it's when I listen to guys, I see it's abnormal. The irritation all over their face, the female gender. Unlike when I talk to guys, you see, it's so, their face is so normal. So as if we're not talking about a sensitive issue here.
No,
See,
what you're saying is a guy that has been raped.
no, when I'm talking generally now, we're talking generally, like when you're talking about rape issues amongst women, fellow women, you see the irritation in their face.
You know, a lot of these guys, they've actually experienced rape. They may not want to talk about it, but if you're really close to guys and you talk with them deeply and they are bold enough to share with you what happened to them, many of them were raped when they were younger.
Yes.
Is it that they tell you their senior sister's friend came to the house and she did this, she did that, or their auntie, or even their own sister? You know,
Yeah, I think at young age, yes, it's just that when it happens to the female child, people come out all en masse.
Because the female is more vulnerable.
Yes.
The man may not necessarily fight, and he may not, because to him it's just okay, one organ standing, and they don't really fight it. But a woman that does not want this to happen,
and they don't feel, I don't think they feel
that
pain.
That fight is also traumatic for them.
Yes.
Remember how they struggled. A man doesn't necessarily.
And I think a little boy might not feel pain, unlike a small girl. You understand? Probably you hear issue. Okay, I'm almost true. You hear issue of when I found out because I was bathing my child, and then she was turning to one side, her body was paining her. That's how it's easy to find out when a girl child is being molested. But you see this boy child, they go through a lot, and because there's no probably bruise, there's no pain, you know, you don't get to find out. You just they grow up like that, and then they grow up with the notion that sex is hide and seek, like she said.
Well, sex is actually hide and seek. Do you go out in the public and stuff?
No, as in, you have to
all your life. You have to take it by force and all that.
I don't know how to explain it, but.
Well, no. When we talk about sex is hide and seek, like you don't have to do it willingly. You don't have to make sure you're at peace with the person you're trying to have it with. You always want to fight.
Whether the person agrees or not.
That's not your concern. And when we talk about trauma for a woman and a man who don't really care. Women experience more trauma. Women go through this pain like they are more traumatized than men. Now you get to see a woman who probably her first time of making love, she was forced into it. It's same thing with what you're saying. Okay, now, she's not just being traumatized for that particular period. This would definitely lead to post-traumatized stress
Syndrome,
disorder.
yeah.
You understand? Because she will have to live with it. She will not be able to deal with it. It takes the grace of God and a lot of counseling, people trying to share different experience. Maybe along the line she will see someone she's even better than, for her to be able to come out from that shell. If not, she will continue to live with it. But a man can actually say, okay, fine, I was raped, but thank God I'm alive. I didn't die, and then nobody.
Can you actually die?
No, no. Yes, some people do.
Men?
Yes. I have
Unless they give you
case.
drugs.
And you were being
And
raped.
it was too much for
A
you.
man or a woman?
A man.
A man, yes, they do.
Die?
Yes, I have heard something
when
like
I was
that.
back in secondary school, I heard that story. A lady, I think he cheated on her boyfriend, and the next thing she knew, she carried like 6. Let me use this word. I'm sorry to say, iyelekutis, big hefty women
Exactly.
that are friends, and they all went and they raped. They drugged him. So
My lecturer
he didn't even
in
know what was
school
happening to him.
was
he actually
raped.
fainted.
My
That's
lecturer
painful.
in school was raped. They said he went to club, and one of the students he dealt with saw him and he arranged everything, and they were just 6. They raped him to death. Till today, at least that one's the story till they go. But the point I'm trying to say, men can actually die during rape, you know. But for men, they can actually get away with theirs. They can easily overcome the thinking and get rid of whatever is troubling them about it and move on with life, unlike women.
That EMR experience, you know, I was coming from a birthday party and I told my friends, I was in a car with 2 of my friends. I told my friends, I said, I hear that this particular road at night is, I've never really been here at night, you understand? How do they stand? I didn't know ashamed. Do they cover there? Do they wear masks? They said, let's pass there now. I said, okay. I was at the back seat. We were coming back to Ubo Oasis from the birthday. And then I saw pretty ladies.
Exactly.
Pretty ladies. I saw old, I saw young, I saw little. I was saying, are you serious? I said, like, how much? They said, I didn't know it was 500. They said, they called a particular
I just said
figure.
500.
Yes,
But
they
it
called
gets to a particular time. Maybe they'll start with 10, 5.
Okay,
like that.
because
it gets to a particular
yes,
time.
they
when
called
they're
10,000
okay, let's
actually.
go. Let me
He now
go
called. He
with
called
it.
a particular girl. He
let me
said, I said, okay.
Oh, but
I said,
women
okay,
are-
call one. I said, okay, call
We have
one.
done this to ourselves.
Listen to my story. It's significant. I will never forget that day. I said, okay, call one. Let me hear. You understand? He called the girl and said, hello, how are you? She said, I'm fine. I was looking at the girl like this from the back. It was the tinted glass. I wind down a bit. I was looking at her. I immediately recognized her. My senior in secondary school. Now, the only thing that crossed my mind was, I was sitting at the back seat. She was saying, who you carry for back seat? Meaning, probably I'm also, maybe if she sees me now, because I was stubborn in school and everybody can remember me, she would think maybe they carried me along, they are passing people or something. I said, move, my senior for secondary school. You know, they said, oh, no, I moved. I said, I know her. I thought she's a pastor, she's a senior in secondary school. As in, I couldn't believe, like, I didn't ever believe that thing they would say a prostitute and then you know the person. But it happened to me live and direct. But I never knew that the price reduced. I just heard it now, that the price reduced with time.
I just said so because of what I've heard people say. They will be like, for that place now, for look there now, 500, you don't this one, they'll look here and they'll tell you.
But that all depends on
I just don't
particular
know,
person.
but I feel they're just saying it to make it
No,
look
they're
like.
not actually. I've experienced it. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
It gets to a particular time. Some are homeless. Some don't have anyone to take care of them. And so it gets to maybe 2 a.m. and they're still there. Their mates have gone. And you're like, why am I still dragging 10,000 when I can just go? 500 naira, I use it and take my transport back home the following day. And they follow the guy. Wow. So it's sad, but then that's not what we're talking about. And most of them actually do get raped. Let me not use that word. Those who stand. Let me put it like that. All right, now we've talked about a lot of reasons why we think rape happens. And next week we're going to continue our series on rape. We're going to look at it in another dimension. We might have another special guest, just like we had last week on the show. So if I were you, I would ensure that I'm a part of the program. My name is Ameze Oba Isiago, and I've had Precious Oriche and the person of Mama P. I've also had the ever-glowing C. White, Caroline Okonji. We'll be here again next time, so do well to join us.